This is If My People, Bible reading, part 225. And we are in the book of John, the last gospel. And let's go back to chapter 10, verse 26. Let's start at 25. The Jews, the people who then didn't believe in Yeshua, the same type of people then who during the Exodus didn't believe in Yeshua. And notice that in the Exodus, Yahweh said, all those who did not believe in him, I let them perish and die. Well, that's almost every single one, wasn't it not? Only a remnant came out of the Exodus. Well, how big of a remnant? Well, there were about 2.5 million people, and probably around 500,000 were people under the age of 20. So yeah, 2 million people in the Exodus perished. And will they be resurrected? No. Joshua, one other, son of none. Not even Moses came out of it. Moses will be resurrected. Moses was resurrected, as we saw. Moses wanted to visit the promised land, but never did. But didn't he? When he was with Yeshua during the vision that they saw come down on the mountain. Yeshua was talking to, one of them was Moses. Moses did come into the promised land, didn't he? Moses says this. Moses says that. Moses says everything Yahweh wanted. Verse 25, Yeshua answered, I did tell you, but you did not believe. We're talking about the Jews. The miracles I do in my Father's name speak to me. Speak for me. But you do not believe because you're not my sheep. It's good to be a sheep. Dumb as a rock, but still, you believe. My sheep listen to my voice. I know them and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish. No one can catch them out of my hand. He's not going to. There's your faith in the whole thing. You're going to be okay. I and the Father are Echad, oneness. There is a Ruach HaKodesh, a Son and a Father. There are two thrones in heaven, meaning the Father sits on one and the Son sits on the other. Again, the Jews picked up stones, and they're going to stone him. But Yeshua said to them, I have shown you many great miracles from the Father. For which of these do you stone me? Which one? He couldn't find it. They had to make up lies. Every single time it was a liar. We are not stoning you for any of these, replied the Jews, but for blasphemy, because you, a mere man, claim to be Elohim. Here's a good one. Verse 34. Yeshua answered them, Is it not written in your law? Notice he said your law. Didn't say fathers. I have said, you are Elohims. And if he called them Elohims, to whom the word Elohim came, and the scripture cannot be broken, well, what about the one whom the Father set apart as his very own, which is him, and sent into the world? Why then do you accuse me of blasphemy? Because I said, I'm Elohim's son. You're Elohim's. Interesting. Do not believe me unless I do what my Father does. Torah, verse 38. But if I do it, even though you still don't believe me, believe the miracles, that you may know and understand that the Father is in me and I in the Father. Again, they tried to seize him, and he escaped their grasp. And many people came to him, and they said, though John never performed a miraculous sign, all that John said about this man was true. And in that place, many believed in Yeshua. Then it goes into Lazarus. The book of John flows along with the other Gospels. But there's some additional things that just keep happening. Because, again, this was written years and years after the others were killed. They're gone. And those books had been written for many years Yet this is years and years later. So John knows what to write. Um, Chapter 12, verse 15. Do not be afraid. This is Torah. O daughter of Zion, see, your king is coming, seated on a donkey's coat. And he is to be put on that. So that was Torah back then. At first, his disciples did not understand all this. Only after Yeshua was glorified did they realize that these things had been written about him and that they had done these things to him. So this is where John sees from a vision from more far back. He saw the fruit and everything that happened as a result. And 20, 30 years later, he writes. And he makes it to understand that there were two instances of the colt. One on one day, and then the next day, ride on a colt again. Another two donkeys, one with a colt. It happened twice. He went in the temple. He turned over the tables twice. He went in the temple 3 times. All in that last Passion Week. Verse 26. Whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, my servant will also be. My Father will honor the one who serves me. So if we're to be honored, we are to follow Torah. We are to do what Yeshua does. Verse 35. Then Yeshua told them, you're going to have the light just a little while longer. Walk while you have the light before darkness overtakes you. The man who walks in the dark does not know where he's going. Well, that's an obvious, isn't it? Put your trust in the light while you have it, so that you may become sons of light. When he had finished speaking, Yeshua left and hid himself from them. A lot of that time was prayer time. Chapter 13, verse 14. Now that I, your master and teacher, have washed your feet, you should also wash another's feet. You don't have to wash someone's feet. The Pope would do this once a year at Easter, and they have to make sure it's on national, world television, global television. It's talking about if you're washing someone's feet, you're doing some of the hard work. And as you get older, am I saying the right thing? Pedicures, not pedophiles, but pedicures. It's hard to get down there and clean your feet and take care of your toenails and do all those things that look good after someone works on them. That's very humble work. Be humble and help someone else when they need it. And anything has to do with like that, especially with some of the elderly, the widows, the orphans, the young who have nothing, the old who have nothing. Verse 15, I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. He repeats it again. Do as I do. He's there with them. He's there short 18 months, but he shows them everything necessary. Verse 34, a new command I give you. Love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. He wraps that later up in the greatest command. Chapter 14, verse 1, do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust, that's the Torah. Trust in Yahweh. Trust also in me. You have to go through him to go through the Father. Believe in me. This is verse 11. Believe in me when I say I am in the Father and the Father is in me. They are echad, or at least believe on the evidence of the miracles themselves. Notice how that's the second time he says, or witnesses. Why would he say that? Because his own family didn't believe in him. And they were watching the miracles, and they were more impressed with the miracles they saw than believing that he was the son. So did Yaakov, did James, did Judas, both half brothers, his other brothers, his sisters, his own mother, did they believe it? Did his dad, Joseph, go to his grave, not confirming that he was the son of God, son of Yahweh? Understand where that is? At least in the evidence, believe in the miracles that you see. Verse 15, if you love me, you will obey my Torah. Whoa, command. Verse 23, Yeshua replied, if anyone loves me, he will obey my teaching. Torah. My Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him. Peace, verse 27. Shalom, I leave you with. My shalom I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Do not be afraid in these times. But the words that you need to say when it's time to say it, you'll say. The Father will give them to you. You don't have to get yourself a lawyer. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. Chapter 15, Torah. Verse 7 in chapter 15. If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be given to you. If it was meant to be and the will is, you will receive it. Verse 9 is, the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. Verse 12, my command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Verse 16, you did not choose me, I chose you, and have appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. Then my Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. And this is my command. Verse 17, love each other. Again. Verse 20, remember the words I spoke to you. No servant is greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they're going to persecute you. If they obeyed my teaching, they will also obey yours also. Verse 24, if I had not done anything among them what no one else did, they would not be guilty of sin. But now they have seen these miracles, and yet they have hated both me and my Father. Chapter 16, verse 33, Torah. I have told you these things so that in me you may have shalom. In this world you will have trouble. You will have peace, but you will have trouble. Just remember that. But take heart. I have overcome the whole world. He's overcome the whole world for you. Now something interesting. We have time. Pilate, we're in chapter 19. Pilate took Yeshua and had him flogged. They're getting ready to crucify him, put him on the stake. He'll have to carry a cross beam. He didn't carry a cross. He carried a cross beam, and they took it out and hung it on a tree. And they did that because there was limited amount of wood anymore in that area, or they used it on another cross and they simply hooked it up, laid you down, tied you up, put you up on the cross on the tree. So it was either a real tree or it was in the ground. We don't know. It doesn't really matter. You pay attention to the meat of the matter. But here's something interesting in it. Now, John wrote this years later, so he wrote it different than Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And if you look at Matthew, Mark, and Luke, all four are different. It has to do with the writing on it. And this is the reason we bring this up, so you understand that John has a perspective more than anything else, because actually John was there. He saw exactly what happened. He was with his Yeshua's mother, Miriam. The others were not there either at all or just for a short time, so they all wrote down and put down different words that were on the cross, naming who is the guy up there and what was the charge. Well, that's because it was changed during the day through Pilate and other people and the Pharisees. Everybody wanted to put different names up there and change things, and they did. And that's why the four Gospels are different. It happened at the same time, and they saw four different views. But John was there the whole time. And so as a result, Pilate had a notice appeared and fastened it across. It read, Yod-He Vav-He, Yeshua, Y, Yod, He, Hazanazarene, the salvation, the man from Nazarene, Vamelech, V, and He, the king of the Jews. Yod-He Vav-He, meaning salvation of Nazarene, the king of the Jews. That was the one that remained up there. And there was also this one. It was also written in Greek. And basically the translation is Yod-He, Vav-He for them would be son of Zeus, Yehezus. So in Greek, son of Zeus, which they called Jesus. Okay, see you at the next one.